Hey guys, what's up? JK with Porn Reboot here. You know what it is. Leaving the gym right now and taking advantage of those endorphins to shoot a video. That's my hack. I'm not motivated to shoot videos all the time, but I noticed that when I leave the gym, I got all these endorphins and I feel fantastic. And it is the best time for me to speak what is on my mind. This morning, I'd like to talk about, I'm actually a little bit tired right now because I and my team have been working overtime preparing the second season of the Porn Reboot Intensive. The first one has been doing quite well, and this is actually our online live group coaching, which is and going to be the best online live group coaching for men struggling with sexually compulsive behaviors on the internet. There's not going to be anything better than it, and I am going to ensure that. I'm actually going to stake my entire career, my entire reputation as a recovery coach on that. So if you do join in the future, or you consider joining, just bear in mind that you will be getting into the best group coaching program that there is out there. Today, I want to talk a little bit about loss of motivation. Now, a few of you believe in the concepts of streaks. Streaks mean like, oh, my longest streak was 30 days, my longest streak was 45 days, whatever. And that's because a lot of you are doing the whole stop fapping using willpower stuff. That's cool, do what works for you. But my point is sometimes when you stay off porn, especially during the first 30 days, you may have noticed that this doesn't happen to everybody, but some men experience an extreme loss in motivation, extreme apathy. You don't want to go to the gym anymore. You don't want to go to work. You actually just don't want to do anything at all. There's just really zero motivation. And sometimes you have this urge, you're like, dude, I want to feel something. In fact, I would much rather experience strong urges than experience nothing. How many of you can relate to that? Now, if you can, this video is for you. I'm going to go through a few steps that you can use to combat them. The first step is, believe it or not, accept it. Accept that it may be a part of recovery for you, a step for you. When you don't accept the fact that there are going to be days during your recovery as you rewire your brain where you feel extremely apathetic, then you're going to generate resistance and aversion towards it. And anything that you resist, anything that you're like, I don't want this to happen to me, it's so terrible when it happens to me, you generate a lot of pain for yourself. You know, aversion to something and resistance to something that is painful, which cannot be avoided, only creates more pain. In fact, the funny thing is that when you accept the pain, it becomes better. The funny thing is when you accept the pain, it becomes easier to deal with it. I'll tell you guys a quick story that I heard from a book. The author is called Rory Vaden, and the name of the book is Take the Stairs. And he tells the story about, I don't know where it is in the United States, but there's this valley where there are cattle and where there are buffalo. And whenever there's a storm, a huge storm coming, what the cattle does is the cattle runs away from the storm. And one of the things that happens is because they're running away from the storm, they eventually end up running with the storm, and they end up taking a lot of damage from the storm because the storm is just going to keep doing its thing and you're going to keep running with the storm and you're just suffering. And the buffalo, on the other hand, which has, lived on those plains for centuries probably, when the storm is coming, the herd of buffalo actually runs to the storm and they run through the storm. And what happens is they minimize the amount of time that they are spending in the storm. And when I heard this, even though it was for a totally different topic in my life at the time, I was like, wow, that's exactly the mindset that men should have when dealing with those moments of sadness and depression and lack of motivation in our recovery. Run through it, embrace it, and understand that when you embrace it and you expect it coming, you're going to spend less time in it. So that's the first step. The second step is On your earliest streak, and I really hate using that word, you guys know that. On your earliest streak, you had 30 days or 90 days or 1 year or whatever of porn and masturbation. What did you do with the time that you had? And the answer for most guys is, I didn't do anything. I just kept living my life, bro. Wrong. When you're in recovery, remember that all those years that you spent addicted to porn and masturbation were years or months where you lost. You were losing out and missing out on various good habits, various beneficial routines to your life. And the time that you buy when you're not watching porn, when you're not acting out, that is the time you use to establish positive habits that will help you to increase your dopamine levels. Some of those things that you can establish in your life are things like community. What's community? Community is actually, if you've been isolating for a while, you start going out there and making connections. The beautiful thing about connections is that connections with other human beings, for instance, being in a group and, just telling jokes and laughing with a group of people that you're close to or even not so close to, that releases healthy amounts of dopamine. So you are training yourself to release healthy amounts of dopamine, because the only way that you know how to release dopamine is by watching pornography and masturbating, and that's releasing massive amounts of dopamine, which your body is actually not evolved to handle. Even sitting down and having a cup of coffee with a friend, male or female, and having a deep connection with them, a deep conversation, can release appropriate, I call it, amounts of dopamine. Just a nice sweet level, the sweet spot of dopamine by having these human connections with people. So that's one thing that you can do, establish community in the time that you have. And this is going to help you later on when you start experiencing low motivation and apathy. Another thing that you can work on in this time that you have is changing your environment. Look around at the environments that you're in. Are you living with people who are addicts? And when I say addicts, it's not necessarily that they're sex addicts. They might be porn addicts. They might be addicted to alcohol. They might be addicted to the internet. If you are spending time around people who are addicted to social media or the internet or food or cigarettes or marijuana or anything else, that's not an environment you want to be in. That is not helping you. Because if you surround yourself with people like that, guess what? You're going to become like that. It is going to weaken different aspects of your recovery. So change your environment. And if you can't change your living space that easily, then endeavor to expose yourself to people who are living positive lives. Endeavor to expose yourself to environments where people are growth-minded. Many of you put yourself in environments where your life is quite stagnant. There's no growth. Nothing new is happening there. And in fact, when anybody in that environment tries to grow, people around them ridicule them and tell them, who do you think you are? Why do you think you're growing? You think you're so special? Get out of that environment, because that is not serving your recovery. And of course, your biochemistry. So biochemistry is actually what's going on with the brain chemicals and the hormones in your body. I say it over and over again that you guys need to get your testosterone levels checked. And some of you just don't give a shit and you're like, whatever. I've never heard that before. I don't think that's a big deal. I'm not going to do it. If you're a grown-ass man and you have no interest in getting your testosterone levels checked, I think you're a fucking dumbass. I think you are just really, really fucking dumb. This is what makes you a man. Like the hormone, the chemical. This is the hormone that makes you a fucking man. Are you like not interested in being a man? What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your fucking testosterone levels checked. It does piss me off. And then go, oh, I don't give a fuck about that. And then you're depressed. You don't feel like doing anything. Your dick's not working. You're like, oh, it must be porn. Stop being fucking lazy and get your ass a testosterone kit. Go to everywell.com. EVERYWELL.com. Or go see your doctor and get that shit taken care of. Seriously. That's for testosterone, okay? And if your testosterone levels are optimal and you're still feeling down, then look at your schedule. Again, the time that you have is very, very important to manage your schedule. Some of you are not getting enough sleep. Many guys who are addicted to pornography have terrible sleep schedules, and we know why. We know it's because you tell yourself you're going to go to bed by 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and one of the things that you start doing is, watching pornography and being up till 2, 3 o'clock. Ask yourself, look at the past week and ask yourself, have I gotten a solid 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day for 1 week straight? Or did I start and get 4 days in and then give some excuse as to why I didn't sleep 7 or 8 hours the next couple of days? You must rest, and consistency is key to balancing your biochemistry. You have to go to bed at the same time, and the earlier you go to bed, the better. I tell my clients, fuckers, go to bed at 9:30. Go to bed at 9:30. In fact, if you're up at 9:30 and I have a live feed for the Covenant Eye filter, and I'm looking at that stuff, and you're up at 10:15, man, you better have a fucking good excuse for being awake at that time. Go to bed, especially in the first month of their recovery. Now, these are grown-ass men. The truth is, they can go to bed whenever the fuck they want to go to bed. But during the first month, we make an agreement that they will get in 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That is so important. Go to bed. Yeah, well, JK, what if I'll lay down there and I just won't sleep? Well, duh. That's what's going to happen because you've been going to bed at 2 o'clock. You're not going to jump into bed at 9:30 and just knock out. Get into bed. Get off your screens at that blue light. Get off blue light at 8:30. And then hop into bed at 9:30. Pick up a book, preferably fiction, and read it. Or a biography, and read it. Trust me, you'll knock out in 30 to 45 minutes. So that's an important thing to do. The time that you have when you are not watching porn and masturbating is so important, because that is the time that you use to establish great habits and essential parts of your lifestyle. And that is another way that you reduce the apathy and the lack of motivation that you feel during recovery. Okay? Now, the final way is accountability. There has to be somebody that you are reaching out to. Sometimes it helps just to hear from another man that he has gone through that. Sometimes that's enough. When you just hear oh, okay, another person has been through this. I'm not alone, and they overcame it. Somebody went through this every freaking day for a week and a half. So if they can do it, I can do it. We're human beings. We're not lone wolves going through life and struggling through all our problems on our own. Put yourself in front. Understand that other human beings go through the same thing. Having the support of other people is very, very important. All right, cool. So I'm at my destination. Got a few errands to run, but that's my message for you guys today. And if you've been dealing with that, those are a few steps that you can take to fixing it in your life. The second season of our 6-week online group coaching is going live on the 15th of November, which is about roughly 2 weeks from now. And if you missed the first 6 weeks, well, season 2 is going to be even better. And I would love to have you join us. I'd love to have you be part of a community. I'd love to see you actually have your own dedicated accountability partner. Everybody gets matched up with an accountability partner. You get trained on how to be the best freaking accountability partner, and you're going to make great progress. You are going to put a serious dent in your recovery. Whatever has been holding you back, I don't care if you've been struggling for fucking 5 years and you're like, oh, I failed so many times, JK. Maybe this will just be another program. This is not another fucking program. This is the program. We are the last stop in your recovery. It is here that you're going to recover. Nowhere else. This is it if you've been struggling for a long time. So I want you to pause on your self-doubt. So put your self-doubt aside, and I want you to jump, no parachutes. And I guarantee you that this will be the 6 weeks that establishes solid recovery behaviors in your life. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the Porn Reboot Intensive. Have a great day.